Imagine this. You walk into a room full of people and everyone stops to look at you, not because you're loud, but because you carry an invisible weight that demands instant respect. But the real reason why this happens to some people and not others is tied to a disturbing psychological phenomenon I'll reveal at the end of this video. Most people think respect is something you have to scream for, but the truth is far more fascinating. There is a psychological backdoor to earning respect that almost nobody talks about, especially for those who identify as shy or introverted. I've spent years studying the subtle cues that make people admire someone instantly, and today, I'm going to share the specific blueprint that turns quietness into power. This will change how every single person views you forever, turning your silence into your most dangerous and respected weapon.
Welcome to Intelevo Mind, where we dive deep into the mechanics of the human brain to help you navigate the complex world of social status. You might feel like your shyness is a weakness or a barrier that prevents people from taking you seriously in meetings, parties, or even within your own family. We often see the loudest person in the room getting all the attention and assume that dominance equals respect. But psychology tells us a very different story about how human beings actually assign value to one another. Respect isn't about being the most talkative, it's about the perceived value and mystery you project to those around you. In this video, we are going to deconstruct the exact habits that allow a shy person to command a room without ever raising their voice, transforming your perceived social flaw into your greatest competitive advantage in life.
The first pillar of earning respect as a shy individual is mastering the art of the intentional pause. In a world that is constantly rushing to fill the silence, the person who is comfortable with a quiet moment immediately signals high status. When you speak, do not rush to finish your sentence as if you are afraid of losing your listener's interest. Instead, speak slowly and use silence to your advantage. This creates a psychological phenomenon where people lean in to hear what you have to say because you've made your words feel scarce and therefore more valuable. Think of it like a rare gem versus a common pebble. The more you talk just to avoid awkwardness, the less weight your words carry. By embracing the silence that your shyness naturally provides, you are actually demonstrating a level of self-control and confidence that most extroverts struggle to achieve.
Let's talk about the physical manifestation of respect, which often happens before you even open your mouth. Many shy people tend to make themselves smaller by crossing their arms, looking at the floor, or hunching their shoulders to avoid being noticed. This is a survival instinct, but it sends a signal to others that you are submissive or lack self-assurance. To flip this script, you need to practice what psychologists call low arousal dominance. This means keeping your movements calm, deliberate, and expansive. You don't need to be aggressive. You just need to claim your physical space. Keep your chin level, maintain steady eye contact, just a few seconds longer than feels comfortable, and stop fidgeting with your hands or phone. When your body remains still while others are twitching with nervous energy, you become a focal point of stability, and people naturally begin to look up to that composed energy.
One of the most underrated tools in your social arsenal is the power of active listening, which shy people are often naturally gifted at doing. Most people are not actually listening, they are just waiting for their turn to speak. When you use your natural tendency to observe, you can become the most charismatic person in the room by simply making others feel truly heard. The trick is to ask one or two deep, insightful questions that show you've been paying attention to the details. This creates a powerful psychological bond because people are hardwired to respect those who validate their internal world. By saying less and observing more, you gather information that allows you to speak with incredible precision when you finally do contribute. This makes your occasional input feel like a surgical strike of wisdom, rather than a random noise in a sea of constant chatter.
Respect is never given to those who are perceived as too nice or pushovers who have no personal boundaries. Many shy individuals fall into the trap of people-pleasing because they want to avoid conflict at all costs. However, psychology shows us that people actually respect those who are willing to say no more than those who always say yes. You don't have to be rude to set a boundary. You simply have to be firm and clear about your time and energy. When you start valuing your own needs, the world starts mirroring that value back to you. If someone asks for a favor that you cannot fulfill, a simple, "I can't do that right now, but I appreciate you asking," is incredibly powerful. It shows that you have an internal compass and that your approval cannot be bought with simple requests, which instantly raises your social standing.
Now we must discuss the importance of competence, which acts as the foundation for all the other psychological tricks we've covered so far. Respect is ultimately a byproduct of perceived ability and the social vacuum technique I mentioned earlier. This technique involves creating a void in a conversation by stopping your speech just before the point of completion. This forces the other person to mentally fill in the gap, which subconsciously positions you as the leader of the interaction. When you combine this with a high level of skill in your chosen field, you become an enigma that people are desperate to understand. You don't need to brag about your accomplishments. Let your work and your controlled presence do the talking. The quietest person who is also the most capable is often the most feared and respected person in any organization because they are seen as a silent powerhouse.
The social vacuum is truly the ultimate secret for the shy person because it leverages the natural discomfort people have with silence. When you are asked a question, wait 3 full seconds before answering. During those 3 seconds, the other person's brain is racing to figure out what you are thinking, and in that moment, the power dynamic shifts entirely toward you. You aren't being shy, you are being deliberate. This simple shift in perspective transforms your quiet nature into an aura of mystery and intellectual depth. Most people will scramble to fill that vacuum with their own nervous talking, often revealing more than they intended, while you remain the calm observer. This creates a sense of authority that is impossible to replicate with loud behavior. By mastering this vacuum, you ensure that every time you do speak, your words carry the weight of a king, rather than the noise of a jester.
Respect isn't about changing your personality or becoming someone you're not. It's about refining the way you project your existing traits to the world. You have a unique strength in your quietness that extroverts will never fully understand. And by applying these psychological principles, you can turn that silence into a magnet for admiration. Remember that the world treats you exactly how you teach it to treat you. So start treating yourself as someone whose presence is a privilege. If you found these insights valuable and want to continue mastering the hidden laws of human psychology, then make sure you join our inner circle. If you're ready to stop being overlooked and start being the person that everyone listens to, then clicking that subscribe button is your first step toward true social mastery. Thank you for watching Intelevo Mind, and remember, the strongest power is often the one that never has to shout.